competition. We are all familiar with this type of interaction to some extent. Humans compete for different things, such as jobs or resources. Competition occurs when niches overlap and organisms must compete to survive. Competition is a minus-minus interaction. Both species are going to be harmed in the process of competition. This is because neither one can realize their full fundamental niche whenever competition is in place. We can see this in small organisms such as paramecium, and we can see competition in large organisms such as mammals and birds. With these paramecium, we see that when they are grown alone, they do very well and their populations thrive and grow rapidly. However, when organisms are put together, one of two things will happen. The first could be competitive exclusion. If one species is a better competitor, it will drive the other species extinct, at least on a local level. The other option is resource partitioning. This is when organisms partition out or divide up the resources so that each species gets some of the resources. Here are some graphs showing competition in these paramecium. We see that when the three species, Paramecium aurelia, Paramecium bursaria, and Paramecium caudatum, are grown separately, all three populations do very well. When we start adding the populations together, we see that P. aurelia is a better competitor than P. caudatum. This means that P. aurelia will drive caudatum extinct. When we add caudatum and bursaria together, we see that caudatum is still a better competitor, but these species will share resources or divide them so that both will survive, even though they are surviving at lower levels than when they grow by themselves. Resource partitioning is common in nature. Here's another example. These lizards both need the same types of environments to perch. So they will partition or divide out which areas each species will use. Some species will use fence posts, other species will use the branches. Because they are partitioning resources, they are able to both coexist together, even though their populations will not be as large as if they were separated. Resource partitioning can cause character displacement. Character displacement is when natural selection acts on the populations and causes one population's traits to shift in response to the resource they're using. A great example of this is in the Galapagos Islands. We see that these finches, whenever they are separate on islands by themselves, have a wide variety of beak sizes that can utilize all sizes of seeds. When the two species of birds are found on the same island, one bird has a larger beak and only eats larger seeds. The other birds have a smaller beak size and only eat the smaller seeds. These characters have been displaced by natural selection. Here's another graph showing how these birds have gone through character displacement. In the first graph on the top, we see that the bird species lives alone and has a wide variety of beak sizes. On a different island, a different species lives alone, and they also have a variety of beak sizes. When you put the two species together on a third island, we see that one has small beaks and the other has large beaks. There is still variation in each population because that is there genetically, but the beak sizes do not overlap because the food is partitioned. Each one is only using one type of seed. Often competition is hard to see in nature. What we are actually observing are the ghosts of competition past. We see the results of what has happened due to competition. For example, our birds from the last slide have already gone through natural selection. This is not an active process, it's one that already occurred. So we are seeing the results of competition over food sources. Remember, when niches overlap, competition occurs. If the niches overlap exactly and two organisms utilize the exact same resources, the better competitor will drive the other species extinct in that area. The other option is that these species will partition their resources and divide up who gets what. This affects both populations negatively, but allows them to coexist.